In this week's episode of the Soul Game, Dzhan is looking for tools to stay in her joy regardless of her husband's moods. Instead, chaos and disconnection ensue as a symbol of what wants to be known and understood. And watch who gets disconnected and when, and how challenging it is for them to get back into this game. Stay tuned after the group session for the follow-up interview so you can understand what Dzhan learns about herself in this marriage.
Like, I know this is happening, and I just I don't want that yet. I don't feel ready. I know I need to let go, but I don't feel ready to go yet.
Welcome to the Soul Game. I'm your host, Shannon McLaren, the Mystic Agent. Through the ancient art of storytelling, our soul council of polarity practitioners and sensory perception artists,
Adrian,
Shannon,
Diddy,
Amanda,
Ruby,
will have 15 minutes to embody the different aspects of our seekers' healing requests.
I am in a situation where my marriage is rocky at best, and we've been separated, and now we are joining back together
To bring about a new SOULution. Let's get into it. The Soul Game.
My name is Dzhan, and I currently live in Leavenworth, Washington. I've lived there for a long time, but before that I've traveled the world. I am a pursuer of the light. I'm a mother of gorgeous children. I'm an artist. I'm a retired midwife, and I'm looking to find the joy in my freshly refound marriage. And I am deeply grateful. I live as best I can in gratitude.
My name is Dzhan, and my movement is
Dzhan.
Dzhan.
beautiful. All right. So now that we've done that, I want to ask Dzhan, what is your healing request? What's the thing that you're looking to work through today?
Yeah. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. My intention, and I'll try to be concise, is that I am in a situation where my marriage is rocky at best, and we've been separated, and now we are joining back together. And there's a lot of tension and resentment coming from him, and my search right now is to find navigational tools to stay in my joy and stay in the light and stay in the happiness of my own life, no matter what his experience of his life is. I am perhaps wanting to be in this marriage more than he is, but he won't or hasn't been willing to end it. And so I'm committed to being in it. And part of my experience in willingness, I guess, to be on that path is that I need to, that's an independent, that the staying in the joy and the light has less to do with him than, and more to do about not reacting to him.
Not reacting. So is there anyone here who feels called to the attention? Shannon?
Yes, so I'm feeling tension in my digestion. And my heart also feel so vulnerable, like I could almost just throw myself down. I want to cry. And I'm wondering if, if I'm in this alone. And I noticed when Dzhan shared her piece, she physically went back. When she was expressing her piece of it, she went back. And for me, that physical gesture is like pulling out, pulling away from it. And so I'm saying that thinking the body knows more than the mind a little bit.
There was this word, non-reaction, and I'm wondering if everyone wants to hold in their mind's eye for a moment what it takes to facilitate that. And if something comes up, I feel like Ruby's already got something that's coming up around the space of non-reaction. Who here is feeling
I feel stifled.
Yep.
In the non-reaction. I feel like I can't breathe. I'm going to suffocate if I don't get to express myself. And as a matter of fact, I feel resistance now.
Mm-hmm.
In this tightening.
No. Okay, we got Amanda's coming out and coming in. It's a lot of tension in here.
Yes. And it's interesting that you called on Ruby and she left first.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, there's non-reaction for you, right? It's disconnect, disappear.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
One of the warnings that I gave my husband was that in my choice to stay and stay committed to my own happiness, that it's very possible that might feel like distance to him. That I might need to choose distance if I'm not able to freely express myself the way that I'm used to, or what intuitively feels natural.
I'm wondering if there was a resource that could assist in navigating expressing yourself and finding distance and finding what that looks like. Who feels called to represent that? So Amanda, you're muted.
Yeah, so it's the resource?
Yeah, the resource to help navigating, expressing, and taking space.
I feel called to that. I feel called to the resource. I closed my eyes when you said that, and I immediately saw the golden orb behind Dzhan in her painting. And when I focus on that, I feel actually really in tune with I feel like my whole perineal floor just like opened. And I feel like really aware of Yeah, I want to say it's actually, though, second chakra is what I'm feeling. I'm really feeling my water. I'm really feeling all of my organs, my generative organs. And I feel like a lot of energy in my lower abdomen. I feel like just expansive here. And when I do that, when I just go expansive and I feel like my whole like cervix is opening and everything feels open and I feel this broadness here, I feel huge. Like I feel like I am that orb. As I embody that in my body, I feel this sense of taking all the space. I feel space.
Shannon, how is that when you hear this?
Really nice. I just feel more spacious. My heart feels more open. I feel in touch with my heart. And calm.
So that sensation that you're feeling right now is where I've been in the last couple of weeks. That resonates. That's the sensation that I've been feeling. And I crave touchstones or tools to stay in it. Right.
Tools to stay in it. Ruby?
I've been feeling like I'm losing it a little bit. Like I feel like I'm getting really far away. And as Shannon was talking about her heart opening up, I just feel like my heart is closing. Like I feel my heart beating faster and faster. This whole time I've been feeling like I'm like just getting further away and I'm like being pulled back. And I don't want the space. Like I don't want this space. Like I just want to cry. I feel very vulnerable. I feel like I'm being pulled from where I want to be, like this safe place. And I'm being pulled and behind me is just like white, like huge, like just all this space. And there's nothing bad. I want to stay. I want to stay where I am. I don't want to be pulled and there's like nothing I can do. I just want to cry, and I feel this kind of like, it's almost anxiousness, but it's like this grief. It's more grief. Like I know this is happening, and I just like, I don't want that yet. Like I'm already being pulled, but like I don't want to go yet. I don't feel ready. I know I'm like, I need to let go, but I don't feel ready to go yet.
Dipti, I'd like you to represent something that Ruby can lean into right now. Some sort of support. Something that allows Ruby to be with this grief, that whatever this is that's occurring. To just be there and be an anchor.
When Ruby was mentioning that, I almost felt like I was like this strong pull right down, like my spinal cord, like a nice, thick, strong pull that's like many feet down in the earth. So it is very deep and it's very strong. So by even like pushing it, you can't even move that pull. It's nice and strong. A lot of strength in it.
And Ruby, I want to check, how is it having this anchor?
I like the anchor. I like the strength.
And I want to check in with Amanda. Looks like everyone's. I got a little bit of freezing here. Okay, I got Dipti and Shannon. Everyone else?
All three. Oh.
The strength of that disconnect.
Disconnection is here, right?
Yeah. Welcome back, Dzhan.
Sorry, you guys.
That's all right. Tech difficulties. But I just want to check how are things for you so far?
They're good. I feel fear. I feel some fear.
Yeah.
I feel my inclination is to try and tell you guys a bunch of details so you understand why I would be willing to put myself in such a situation, and I'm aware that I need to just breathe and be present.
Where are you feeling the fear?
It's in my chest and in my throat.
Yeah. I'm wondering if everyone would put their hand on their heart and just hum a little bit, maybe a little bit of rock. And Dzhan, if you would just rock a little bit to the left and right. Yeah, and we'll kind of just rock with you and just a little hum. And you keep doing that until you feel complete. Now I want to check in with Shannon as the tension and just checking in how things are in your experience.
Finding it like hard to stay connected to the through line of the intention of the session a little bit, like because of all of this disconnection.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure what comes first, the disconnection or my confusion.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. So what I'm sensing here is there is this expansiveness, kind of disconnect. It's kind of moving back a little bit. That's the direction it seems like the energy is going, right? One of the things that I recognize is that in that experience of the spaciousness, things happen. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the intelligence of what's happening in that, and to give that space, and to really recognize that and honor that that's what's happening, and that there is an intelligence in that occurrence. So with that said, I'm just gonna get if there's any closing thoughts from Dipti.
I just feel when we had the hand on the heart, that is one of the great resource as well. And it felt like it really strengthened my inner core too. That's something to kind of hang on to. So that was a great tool. Thank you.
And Shannon, thoughts?
There's just nowhere to go. That's what's coming in for me. There's nowhere to go. And so here I am.
And Amanda?
Well, I was definitely contemplating as the role of this resource, this spacious resource, this portal of resource and alignment, that there's something in the connection that could be strengthened. And I was sitting with that, like there's I kept disappearing in the context of this as that resource, and I feel ever present. And so there's something that I want to offer around that. And I think it's, that even when the connection isn't there, it's there. I'm here. I'm right here. And even when it feels like it's not and it disappears, it's still totally there. I'm completely able to feel you and be with you and be that presence, even if we seem disconnected. And it might take a little bit of work. I had to work to get back in here. I had to be crafty. Sometimes you got to be crafty, but it worked. And I'm here.
And Ruby, we were just giving our last words, just honoring the spaciousness. I don't know, I think you approve on my end. Yeah.
She has tried to get back in several times.
Okay.
More than
Okay. So throughout this experience, I have had patients that Amanda talked about in my perineum, in my gut, my heart, and my throat. And what I just kind of want to reiterate a little bit in my witnessing of all this is a kind of permission to navigate the space, right? And to trust that whatever spatial distance you take is a good distance, but to always to navigate that in a good way, to the best way that you can, and to give yourself permission to be spacious, to give yourself permission to take the space that you need and to come closer when you need, and to know that that's what it is. Like, it's not like, oh, doing, fault, problem. That's what's happening. And to honor that a little bit, knowing that this is gonna get deeper. How is that, Dzhan?
It feels it feels kind of out of control. It really resonates to know that it's critical for me to give myself permission to take the space that I need, and permission to be close when I want to remove what that to me is, to remove the shoulds, right? That I am currently the rule maker, and those can change from moment to moment. And as long as I'm staying in alignment and listening, then I am precisely where I need to be on that path.
Thank you, Dzhan. I want to invite everyone to call their energy into the midline. Call your energy back into yourself. Dzhan, call in the resources, the permission, the support, the anchor, all that you need to navigate the space in a good way, in a truthful way. And for everyone out there, you too can be an agent of action for your soul by witnessing your own energy systems and all that it does and all that you need in that process. Thank you for being here to witness and participate in this SOULution. Deep appreciation to you all.
It's been a few days since your session, and I just wanted to follow up with you to see how your process has been since we were together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had an interesting, I felt like I got pretty spun out by the session, and then found myself doing this thing that I do, which is, well, I don't want them to feel bad that I'm feeling upset, so I'm going to tell them how good this is, and then I'm going to go, and then I'll go melt down by myself somewhere else. And that's my only regret, honestly, is because I feel like, or regret's the wrong word, but it's one of the biggest lessons that I got out of it, or gifts, which is that I have an opportunity these days to stay in my authenticity and not try to accommodate the comfort of others over my own, right?
So good. Yes, ma'am. Take it. Lasso it. Bring it home.
So, you know, it's important for me to stay in that authenticity. It's important for me to know where my vulnerable spots are, and just pay attention, because they're going to show up. It's not like I can be this seamless, perfect strength. That's not human. So instead, being able to have it be less extreme. There was this feeling of like, here's me using my tools perfectly, and then I have this smooth sailing path, and then here's me where the tools don't exist at all and I'm falling apart and dying, you know? And it's like, well, maybe there's some gray area here. Yeah.
And I feel like the lessons are that deepening of listening to your own truth and how subversive we can be with ourselves, like how much we really lie to ourselves. And it's not something we want to do on purpose.
No.
And that's really what I'm hearing you say. It's like that there's been an adaptation that's happened. You've adapted. And part of that adaptation is to get along.
Mm-hmm.
And getting along, things will be more peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you're saying to me is life just isn't that way.
Yeah, and that that there's a way for me to choose that from an authentic place. So I do feel like there is I'm witnessing that I don't want to talk to many people. Strange that I decided, oh, here's a group of people I don't know at all that are very in tune. I'm just going to show up with this thing that I'm not willing to talk to people about right now. All is perfect. So, and I do feel like that's really perfect because what I'm bumping up against is that, well, unless people have hours for me to lay out the whole picture, then they're going to judge that I'm either, and this isn't just random, but I mean like people who are like soul connected humans. They're going to question my shutting down. It's going to look like I'm shutting down who I actually am, or it's going to look like I'm compromising too much, or it's going to look like I'm not being true to myself, when what it feels like is that there's a lot of juicy work for me to do in accommodating the needs that are coming up to be able to stay in this marriage. And that I don't have any interest in compromising my integrity or myself or being inauthentic or shutting myself down. Mm-hmm. I feel very strong and very clear that you know, 6 months ago it felt very black and white. Either I have to compromise and submit to this being what my life is, or I go out and be the like spiritual unicorn I've always meant to be, and that they couldn't be existing at the same time. And instead I'm witnessing that as my cup become, not to, you know, be cliche, but as my cup has become full, that what before I had this, this sort of ocean of need, and it felt like whatever he could give just felt like a raindrop that couldn't even begin to touch that need. And now that I feel more satiated or filled up, I'm able to recognize that those droplets are not tiny, that they're actually that there's a lot of love and intention behind them, and that it's very okay for me to resource my needs that he can't fulfill in other places, and that I'm very well resourced that way.
Thanks for watching. Do you feel disconnected from your loved ones? Does it bother you when people pull away or express an unkind mood? Let us know in the comments below. And please be sure to support self-realization content by liking and subscribing to our channel. if you want notification of our upcoming episodes, hit the bell icon as well. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week on the Soul Game.